1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Royal Blue Podcast sound check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Post-match reaction live. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hello and welcome to the Royal Blue Podcast. This is the post-match reaction show with me, Ian Croll, and Tony Scott. We're here to talk all things Everton and Roma, a 1-0 defeat for Everton at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. We are live, so get your questions in, get your comments in, let us know your thoughts of the day, of the match, of the results. Give us your verdict throughout the show. Before we get going, just a word for our sponsor. We'd like to thank NordVPN for sponsoring the show. Please download and sign up to Nord's app and get a whole host of benefits, ranging from data protection, including protection for your bank accounts and bank details, passwords, and online identity. So to get the best discounts off your NordVPN plan, please go to our YouTube and podcast description. You'll find nordvpn.com/EFC. Our link will give you 4 extra months on a 2-year plan. There's no risk with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. And as I said, the link is in the podcast episode description. Tony, this is our official debut post-match podcast.
It is.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, surreal, wasn't it today? Very surreal.
I described it as that to a friend who didn't come.
I've never seen so many happy Evertonians at once. And going through the traumatic experiences we've all had in the past 10 or 15 years supporting Everton, it was just nice to see like a joyous occasion before pre-match. We'll talk about the match shortly, but before the game, just the anticipation and everyone excited to get inside the stadium. A joyous occasion. The noise, Z cars, it's incredible. I got emotional when Z cars come up. I've filmed it for the Echo website, and it was wow. It was like 9 years. I never thought I'd see this. Do you know what I mean? And it was very emotional when you heard the Spirits of the Blues and there she goes before the game and everything else. But that was for a pre-season friendly. So you can only imagine the scale of what it's going to be like when there's a Premier League match on there. As you just touched on there before, the noise level was definitely... There was a chance in the first half. I think Dewsbury carried the ball forward and he just had a shot wide. And then the noise after it, the South stand out. Oh my God, like we all... looked, myself, Connor and Chris and Joe looked at it and said, that noise that come from that side of the stadium was incredible. So, and that was for a pre-season friendly. So you can only imagine what it's going to be like down there for night games and imagine last minute winners. It's going to be incredible. But pre-match, fantastic. And then again, I'll just emphasise, that was a test event. Yeah. It's a pre-season friendly. So I think the two, in terms of learning today, I'm sure David Moyes didn't learn much about, obviously, the depth of the squad. But from a fan perspective, the stadium, I think we learned that we're just going to love this. We're going to love the stadium. We were all obviously sad that we had to leave Goodison Park. And I spoke to a lot of Evertonians inside the ground about the stadium. And they went, I was so sad to leave Goodison. I had tears in my eyes and everything else. I said, but this is just Everton. This is me, and honestly, I've never seen so many Evertonians with smiles on their faces ahead of the game and pre-match and Z cars, Spirits of the Blues, and everything else. It was a historic day. It really was, and an emotional one as well.
People, rightly are going to talk about another pre-season defeat. We can't come on to that. We can address obviously another defeat in pre-season. It's not been a great couple of games, has it? Let's face it, it's not been a good run. But let's stick with what you just been saying there. I think you're absolutely spot on. I think 20 minutes into the game, I think you did get that friendly feel.
Yeah.
But in terms of, the test events, obviously passing what it needed to do, the fans everyone was so happy, pleased. I couldn't agree more. Walking up there from the studio here, it was surreal seeing so many hundreds, thousands of fans, just completely different to obviously what Goodison has got to offer. You can't compare the two because it's not fair to compare the two. Getting in that stadium from the first test event and then to now, completely different in a way, because it was like there was only 10,000 in there. Now this is a full capacity.
Does it feel like a match?
It felt like a match, but it still felt like a friendly match. Don't get me wrong. I think Chris Beasley mentioned on Friday, he's probably mentioned like the speakers and how loud they're going to be, a lot crisper, and he was absolutely spot on. The noise of the Lars, there she goes, the noise of Z cars, and I just think for me, personally, from where I'm sitting in the south stand, I'm absolutely delighted with my seat. I'm going to be in the mix of all of that. I don't know. I don't want two people to dwell too much on this defeat. Let's take today for what it is. It was an historic occasion, first proper game at Hill Dickinson Stadium. We know there's a lot of issues moving forward with the depth of the squad. I think there's still a team there that should be able to beat Leeds on Monday. Like, without a doubt. There's got to be. But for me, I'm going to take a complete positive from today, and walk away from there to think that this is our new home, and it just feels right.
100%. I think, listen, the results, if everyone was to do that 0-0, no one would have batted an eyelid. They lost 1-0. They could have easily won 1-0. There was not much in the game. I think the game literally changed when Moyes made the changes. I thought Everton were really good for a good hour. I thought the link-up play between Thierry Barry and Dewsbury Hall is one to watch. I think Dewsbury Hall played in that 10 role and then was jumping to an 8 and to a 6. He was all over the pitch. I thought he was brilliant. Thierry Barry was holding the ball up well, making runs in behind. Could have arguably got a goal himself. Iliman Diaye could have got a goal himself. So this is against a really good Roma side that finished 5th in Serie A last season. So I thought Everton were really good for the best part of an hour. But once Moyes made them changes, I think Everton just completely lost the way in terms, especially down that right-hand side. Alcaraz was wandering inside, and then when Jake O'Brien was getting the ball, he was just looking up, and it was just the right-hand side was non-existent. We'll speak about, obviously, Mikalenko's injury. He went off. Adam Asnou come on, didn't cover himself in glory. And a warning sound there was for when actually David Moyes took him off. So for a sub to be subbed off and then experienced right back put in his position, who hardly kicked the ball for us, let's have it right, Seamus Coleman, I think it's quite damning for him, to be honest. He made a couple of errors leading up to the goal. So yeah, there'll be lots of issues that Moyes have learned from that, but I think overall, it's a positive performance for the first hour. Evertonians will have enjoyed the day. Yeah, it's a pre-season friendly, but I'd rather have lost. If someone was to say to me, lose today and beat Leeds on Monday night, I'd take it all day long. And that side that Everton have put out for the first hour, it's quite capable of beating Leeds on Monday night.
Yeah, I think so. And Adam Asnou, he obviously probably wasn't meant to have the amount of minutes that he came on for. In that respect, do you know what? It was so funny, but like before, when he came on, he was trying to take players on in silly positions. Complete lack of experience there. Moyes didn't want to bring him on, you could tell. The obviously negative side to the things is that Mikalenko's going to have suffered an injury there. It's going to be a groin injury by the looks of it. God knows how long he's going to be out for now. Fingers crossed it's not too serious. I think he's obviously a fault for the goal, isn't he, hasn't he? But Moyes has put a warning out there already. Said, listen, don't expect too much for him. We're not throwing him in at the deep end. He's kind of had to do that a little bit there, but at least it's only a friendly, and it doesn't really matter when it's like a league or a cup game or anything like that. I think shouldn't dwell too much with regards to that. I think there was definitely a lot of positives. Interestingly enough, Kiernan Dewsbury Hall, we'll come on to who was man of the match later on in the pod, but I felt he did his best of work when he was a little bit deeper. Yeah, honestly, I know we talked about whether he's going to play as the number 10, whether he's going to play as the number 8 as such. He's obviously not going to play as the number 6. He's not going to play that deep. But I honestly think that he's going to do his better work deep, progressing the ball forward, and he put a couple of 3 good balls into Barry as well. I was very pleased. We certainly lost our way when the subs were made. And Dewsbury Hall went off. Obviously Barry started, Dewsbury Hall started. Were you surprised that Barry started, that he didn't give Bettel the run out?
No, do you know what? I think Moyes I think Moyes would have started that same 11 against Leeds. That's Everton's best side. If you look at it on paper, that's Everton's best defence. It's arguably Everton's best midfield. I think he stumped on something there with James Garner playing in that 6 role. And what it does, it allows just a guy to press high up the pitch. And what he's very good at is getting his toe in and getting his interceptions. He probably makes more interceptions than any other midfielder in the Premier League. So if you're getting that interception high up the pitch, your turnover can be rapid. And when Everton have got like Thierry Barry and they've got Iliman Ndiaye, they desperately just lacking that killer instinct in terms of on the right-hand side because the team is just unbalanced. It's
the right-hand side is non-existent though, is it?
And it's so unbalanced, the team, because of it. And that's the thing. It's like it's all on the left-hand side. So Kieran Dewsbury's in there. You've got Thierry Barry. You've got Iliman Ndiaye.
He was coming in, wasn't he?
He was coming in. So when Alan Alcaraz is obviously, he's duly obliged to being put on the right-hand side. He's just constantly coming inside. And when Jacob Bryant's looking for the ball, he's looking in front of him. There's no one there. So if Everton is it's very difficult to describe at the moment because obviously the changes are there for Everton to all to see in terms of like how they're trying to play football, trying to press high up the pitch and the quick turnover, and they're playing football as well. But the same token, you need to get a balance to your team, and the balance is all over the place because of the right-hand side. We're top heavy on the left-hand side. I thought Thierry Barry and the Dewsbury, that combination play was very, very good. Just a guy played well, pressing high up the pitch. James Garner, again, I thought was really good in that 6 role. He was the deeper holder, wasn't he? Yeah, and I think that Everton fans have done something there. Back 4, I thought were really good until they kind of lost their way when Everton obviously made them changes to the team. Tim Rubenham come on, Chimiti went on to the left. They just lost their way completely.
No, but they're little cameos, aren't they? It's very hard for those type of players to make an impact, isn't it?
It is, but at the same token, you want to see effort. And there was some times, and I listened to Dwight McNeil, I will probably touch on now. He was a certain starter for Everton last season, playing every game, probably played more games than anyone over the past 2 or 3 seasons. And now all of a sudden, he's a squad player. He's not playing as an Ndiaye. He's not good enough to play in Kieran Dewsbury's position. So he's now a squad player. He came on today, and I was looking to see from a squad player, right? I've lost my place to Iliman Ndiaye. I've lost my place to Kieran Dewsbury. I'm going to make this right-hand side my own, or I'm going to make this central. I'm going to try and I didn't see, he was like, looked laboured, he wasn't chasing, he wasn't harrying. And I thought that was quite alarming for me. You want your squad players to be pushing your first team players, and that didn't set a precedent with me in terms of like, squad players should be pressing to try and get a shirt. But then cameos that came Beto for Barry, I'd be starting Barry all day long against Leeds.
I thought Barry was impressive. However, what I will say is you're the first one to jump on Beto when he misses a relatively easy chance, and Barry did miss 1 or 2 relatively easy chances.
Easy chances.
I'd say the first one, where he was put through from Dewsbury Hall, he made a complete hash of it.
Yeah, he did. To be fair, yeah. Of course.
I'm not like jumping on him or anything like that. I thought he was one of the better players in the first half, but I think my point is that your striker's not going to be able to score every single time. You'd like to think even like a Haaland doesn't score every single time. So, impressive, definitely impressive.
His link-up play
was good. He was taking players on. He's going to be able to maybe create a chance for himself, find those runs, on the shoulder of the last defender. Dewsbury Hall can definitely help out with that, with some of his passing ranges and stuff like that. I think you are right in terms of the subs. I've said it's hard for a player to come on like that and in a cameo and make an impact. But actually, we do need these players to come on and make an impact, because your starting 11 should be good enough to go out and win a game. But when it's not, then obviously you need your 5 subs, or you're going to need your 5 subs to come on and make an impact. Let's face it, the top teams use the subs all the time.
Yeah, you can make 5 changes a game, no? Change half the team.
No, I completely get it. You want your McNeils, you want your Schmitties. Who else came on? I can't even think.
You've got Michael Keane come on, which is
he didn't obviously came on for Brantwaite.
Exactly.
I thought he did okay.
Did McNeil, did Beto, did Schmitty come on? Did the Rubenham come on? Did any of them 4 come on and stake a claim?
No.
And this is where you're looking at that and you're going, you want them players to be pushing the first team. I think the first team picks itself. If Mykolenko is fit, obviously we're hoping so he is for against Leeds, that starting lineup is Everton's best side.
I wouldn't be surprised if he goes with Beto though over.
Do you think?
Barry, yeah. Just for. consistency of what we've had previously.
But why didn't he start today? That's the last game before pre-season.
No, I agree. I agree.
That's a benchmark today in terms of like, right, this should be my starting lineup ahead of the next game we are playing.
I think he just wanted to see what he could do, and he definitely staked the claim.
Oh, 100%.
You just know Moyes likes to, go with the experience and what he knows.
Or would Moyes, going to throw one in here, would Moyes flood the midfields and put Ndiaye in a false nine? Because there was at times in the second half where Ndiaye was arguably the furthest player up the pitch. He could do, we don't know, but I think he'll start Thierry Barry. I really do, just because of the link-up play. And he can do Beto's job in terms of getting in behind, but he can hold the ball up as well, and he can link up. Whereas in Beto, he struggles with that. Whereas in Thierry Barry, you've seen an example in the first 20 minutes where he just flicked the ball over the defender and Everton were in on goal.
No, yeah,
and
I
that's the
remember
difference.
it, yeah.
He can turn defence into attack quite quickly.
He was impressive.
That's where you've got elements. The guy's very good at that as well. Just bang, bang, and you're in. And all of a sudden, you turn over in play, you're in on goal. I wouldn't be surprised if Barry starts.
There was a couple of players who stood out. I think we all have high expectations of Iliman and Dyer. This is no criticism of him because he's quality. I think he was maybe a little bit quiet today in terms of what he could probably offer, but I don't know whether that was because the interchanging between from the left to the middle. He was
swapping quite a lot because of the right.
I don't know whether he was getting frustrated or whether that was an instruction from the bench.
Well, Everton obviously were instructing him to swap over to the right all the time because I was speaking to, obviously, Joe Thomas was sat next to me. I said, Joe, they're constantly changing because you just seen Everton's right side struggling and you're seeing basically Moyes bark instructions out to Alcaraz to swap, and then you've seen Alcaraz on the left and then you see him on the right. And if you're in GI, you're going, hang on, what am I just coming over to this side to try and get onto the ball to keep hold of it?
I open that respect with it being a friendly that Moyes is just trying to experiment a little bit because I don't want to be seeing that too much.
Well, what's the option?
Leeds. Well, for one, I don't want Alcaraz anywhere near the wings. I don't want him anywhere near.
So what is the option at the moment?
Okay, well, the option...
You've got no right-hand side of play there to play on the right side of midfield.
What I'd do then, he's not going to do this. If we don't bring a right-hand side of player in, a right winger in before Leeds, I would almost go McNeil on the left and put Ndiaye on the right and keep it fixed. And obviously you can choose between Alcaraz and...
But you're just missing Ndiaye.
You're just swapping Ndiaye from the left to the right. I don't see too much of a upheaval in that respect.
Has McNeil does he deserve a starting lineup?
No, but what I'm saying is you don't want square pegs in round
I get it, but all of a sudden you are, because you've got your best player, your most influential player, stuck on the right hand side of midfield.
He plays on the right for Senegal, and by all accounts he can play well and he does well. You don't want Alcaraz on that right hand side. He's useless on that right hand side. He doesn't offer anything whatsoever.
No. He's just there for the moment.
So I'm hoping this interchanging. Sometimes when interchanging works and you play a swap and you score a bag full of goals, you think that's fantastic. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Yeah. Today it hasn't worked. I think what's best for Everton now is for each individual player to find their position. I mean, McNeil's come out in the past couple of weeks and talked about how he wants to play as the number 10 and central.
No chance.
I agree with you. He probably didn't do enough. He found pockets of space, to be fair.
He did.
But did he do anything with the ball? Exactly.
He's not quick. He's not skillful. All he can basically do, McNeil, is steal half a yard and whip the ball into the box. And he's got a hell of a shot from outside the area.
I think that's why...
You need more than that.
When he played as the number 10 under Dyche in the first couple of games of last season,
that's
why he was able to score a couple of goals and get a couple of assists.
Because he was finding them pockets.
But it was to the detriment of the team because we didn't win any of the games.
Yeah, I know.
It's a tough one.
Do you know what that right-hand side thing, just before we move on, do you think now that's the final straw in terms of the conversation that Moyes will probably have with his recruitment team saying, right, you've just seen that.
I hope so.
50 odd thousand have just seen that right-hand side. I'll guarantee all the pubs on Regent Road and in town tonight, they'll all be speaking about the same thing, that right-hand side. Grealish, get Grealish in, get Tibbling in. They'll all be saying, what's going on? We need a right-hand side of midfielder, 100%.
What I will say is, if we end up getting a Grealish, a Dibbling, or whatever, whether it's before Leeds or after Leeds, and we get them in, then I can safely say, personally, me, whether you agree or not, and whether anyone in the comments agrees, that it would be worth the wait. Because let's face it, now this game is gone. Yeah. It's meaningless. It's over. I know it was a big historic occasion. Disappointing that we didn't win. the team that got put out today should be capable of beating Leeds.
100%.
So regardless of whether we're short on the right-hand side or not, I don't care what anyone says, it should be capable of beating Leeds.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're forfeiting the game.
The test will come against Brighton, against Villa.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
In a week.
But it's not like we're forfeiting 3 points because we haven't signed this right back.
No,
I think
get
that's
it.
nonsense if anyone says that.
Ideal, you'd want him in for training for 2 weeks ahead of the tougher games.
Oh, yeah, of course. But look at, Kane and Dewsbury Hall.
But he's just only played for Chelsea in the FIFA World Cup.
No, that's a good point. But in terms
Grealish
of settling
hasn't kicked a ball for the best part of 6 months.
Well, first team football, I agree. He's probably
he's done nothing throughout pre-season. He never travelled to the States. He's been banished from training. He's done absolutely nothing there, Grealish. Sounds like he's had a good holiday wherever he's gone. So he's going to be nowhere near up to be match fitness. So that's where you've got to struggle there in terms of like weighing everything up in terms of signing.
Let's quickly talk about Grealish and Diblin in terms of the negotiating tactics, because obviously this is the post-match pod and this is what we want to speak about. For me, when it comes to Grealish, the ball is in Manchester City's court. Everton have set out their stall of what they want. We're not going to be able to afford him from a transfer value point of view. We can't even afford his full wages. So it's a loan with City subsidising, and that is the be-all and end-all. City are not going to accept that right now.
Yeah,
it's going to wait till the end of the window. So there's nothing we can do with regards to Grealish. What we can do is we could go out and sign Tyler Diblin. And if it means an extra 5 million, if it means agreeing to Southampton's terms of 25% onto the sell-on clause onto the profit, then do you go and do it? Is that what you go and do? Because they're literally the options available.
From what I was told today, that Everton and Southampton are miles away from each other. Well, absolute miles away.
Do you think Southampton will have watched that game and thought Everton need a right winger here?
Of course they do.
So there you go.
They're going, hang on, we know Everton are desperate now. Southampton come back and won 2-1 today against Wrexham, didn't he? So they're sitting there going, well, hang on. We've just been probably one of the teams that's going to be up there this season. We've started the season well. We know Everton are absolutely desperate for the right winger. That sits on our hands for another couple of weeks.
I mean, let's face it. The stress on me here. It's not just the right wing, is it? It's the right back situation as well. We've literally just been speaking.
I think you can get away with it, Ian, if you've got
from a defensive point of view. You can with O'Brien. I thought going into this season with O'Brien as the right back, I wouldn't necessarily say I would have been happy. I would have been content because he's going to be able to do a job.
Yeah.
But there was a situation or a segment of the game where in the second half where we were on the attack, and I can't remember if it was Ndiaye or James Garner who had the ball, who found himself in some space, and he looked to the right-hand side, and Jake O'Brien was slowly running down the wing. He was doing it. He wasn't being lazy. He was just getting there where, a full, proper, legitimate right back, full back there would have been bombing down. The space was there for a full back to run into, and it just didn't get that. So, look, Jake O'Brien as the right back, I'm content with it.
Yeah.
Are you not disappointed that we haven't, even with the Fulham right back and Kenny Tete that even we went for, that we haven't tried to address that?
I think Everton will get away with Jake O'Brien being at right back because obviously he possesses a threat in both boxes. If your right winger, if your right midfielder is really good, I think that's the option. When you haven't got a right midfielder, Jake O'Brien basically is a defender. He's a centre half being put there, so he's going to defend. Not many will beat him. Not many will out jump him. Not many will get round him. But from an attacking perspective, he's left found a little bit wanting. So ideally, if Everton can get a very good right midfielder in ahead of him, I think that's perfect. I think that's a perfect combination because you've got a really steady right back who's not many attackers are going to get past. And then there's your option. You might need to go forwards if you've got a decent right midfielder. Yeah. That's the option. So you're going, hang on, get past the halfway line if you need to, but give the ball to Jack Grealish, give the ball to Tyler Diblin, give the ball to whoever you want, because we've got that option there in front of you. We don't need you going past the halfway line. That's why Mikalenko, there's not that much pressure on him, because you've got Elements Guy on there. So if we've got really good wingers, then you don't really need to rely on your fullbacks bombing forwards, because your wingers are that good. That's the option. Obviously, it'd be ideal if you could get them going forwards, but it's not a necessity if your wingers are that good. Now, at the moment, we've got one winger who's very good on the left-hand side, and we haven't got a winger at all on the right-hand side, and that's the big problem.
That's why I think, in that respect, then, like say, I think you can put that team out and it beats Leeds, but moving forward, if we haven't got a winger in by Brighton, I honestly would consider moving Ndiaye to the right-hand side and looking to bring McNeil, because at least that's his position, that's where he could play. I'm not saying that's what I want, but I'm saying at least it doesn't just fill a hole, and Ndiaye could play there on the right. Like he genuinely could, and he can cut inside, he can go out wide. I think that's got to be, an option, because we can't go on too much longer without a right-hand side.
Here's a question for you. What did you learn from today's performance? Did you learn anything?
Nothing new in terms of the squad is obviously still short. The subs that do come on, as we've without repeating ourselves, they come on and we always describe it as a cameo, but we can't keep going on. Well, he's made a cameo. We need these substitutions. We need these subs to make an impact. I think Dewsbury Hall, fantastic signing. I think he shows a lot of promise. I think Tierno Barry has showed a lot of promise. I think having Jared Brantwaite back in the team is a sure sign that Everton's defence is a lot more assured. I know we conceded, but let's face it, we've got a new left back in Adam Azou, who's only 19 years old, who's very inexperienced, and he was at fault for the goal.
He left Brantwaite just isolated,
but it just kind of went through him.
And then he didn't stay on his feet. And I think there was just before that goal, by the way, there was loads of gaps down that left hand side where literally Brantwaite was screaming at him to tuck in, and he was nowhere to be seen. Literally nowhere to be seen. So the position, there was a segment of the play when there was no left back at all. I think he was halfway up the pitch, and Ndiaye was like playing left back. I was going, where's the left back here?
The first time he was involved in play, he tried to take someone on the halfway line, and he lost it. And I just thought, you can't be doing that. No, you literally can't, unless you're playing left wing. You want to try and take someone on. I can understand that you can't be doing that as a left back, and I think Moyes probably thought, got to get him off as soon as first opportunity can get him off,
and to bring a right back on in his position.
Seamus Coleman got the biggest applause of the afternoon when he came on, didn't he?
I wouldn't be surprised if Coleman's playing left back against Leeds.
How many minutes can he actually play, though?
That's the problem we've got now. And this is where you need. It's the
Leeds team who are going to be tough.
Well, they'll have Nonto on one wing, they'll have Dan James on the other, and that's what they'll be aiming for. And do you know what? You blame them? They go, hang on, have a go at Coleman there. He can't have the last 90 minutes. Go for him. So, but I think that's just probably one of our weakest links at the moment. But apart from that, I thought Everton played really well for an hour today. Looked really promising. Lots of good periods of play during the game, which what I said here on Friday, so what I'm looking for, really good atmosphere before the game. We got that, the noise level before, we got that. And I expected to see good patterns of play, and I think we've seen a lot of that in the first hour, and we just literally lost our way when the substitutions were made.
We created good opportunities from an attacking threat, and we had chances. At the end of the day, we did, and this is against a good Roma side. Would you put Roma on par with Leeds? No, you wouldn't. They're a far cry. They're so much better than what Leeds are going to be able to offer. Right, let's just take a breath. I'm going to get some questions and comments that are coming in on the stream. So just bear with us. I mean, what do you think of Pickford today? I thought his kicking was a little bit off.
I thought he made a really good save, didn't he? In the
he made that one-handed save.
He made that in the second half. Whether that was for the cameras, I don't know. But yeah, I think his kicking was a little bit wayward. But no, I think listen, you get.
I'm not saying we should drop him.
But I think with Pickford now is that he very, very rarely makes a mistake leading up to a goal, which probably 2 or 3 years ago he was making 5 or 6 per season that were leading to making errors that were leading up to goals.
Yeah.
There's not many errors you're seeing in his game now. He's very, very consistent. You may get 1 or 2 wayward slices into the crowd, but apart from that, you're always getting an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 out of Jordan Pickford. I thought Tarkowski played well. Ndiaye was very, very good. I said he was just getting the ball and linking up.
Sorry to interrupt. Where does, now that Garner seems to have not cemented his position by any means, but found a place where you think he could benefit from playing as that number 6. Where does that leave Adissa Gate? Because he's not creative as such, and he's obviously playing that little bit further forward. So now, almost what's happened, him and Garner and Gay have just swapped roles, and it's kind of leaving that player in that position in a bit of a void, a bit of a no man's land.
I get it.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but ideally, I think Moyes would love just a guy to do 60 minutes of high pressing up the pitch, and then Alcaraz can come on for the last half hour. I think you'd want Alcaraz on the bench ideally, and you say to Idrissa, right, I want you pressing right high up that pitch. We've got our centre forwards, we've got Jules Biol pressing, we've got obviously the other players, but I want you trying to get your toe in, because there were so many times when guy goes right up to the centre back and you go, all he needs is a touch and Everton in on goal, and that will happen this season. Bet your bottom dollar on that. It's just a guy will be winning balls high up that pitch, and Everton's turnover will be in straight away. That will happen 100%. And then you're in on goal straight away. So I think it's a very good move from David Moyes, because what we were seeing last season towards the end, although the results were going great, Garner weren't contributing. James Garner wasn't contributing to the field of play. He was getting in about, and just a guy was playing in that 6. And just a guy was like not really going. He weren't using his legs, to be honest, to the benefit of the team. He was using them behind the ball instead of in front of the ball. So now a guy can high press. I'm not asking him to create, but all he needs to do is get his toe in on the ball and pass the ball. And he can pass the ball to Barry or Jules Biol or Illuminati or whoever with this right-hand side of midfield. Get your toe in and we're in on goal. I think that's going to be a key element to Everton's game this season. Seeing a guy in a higher press, win the ball, Everton quick in on goal.
Before we come on to questions then, just in terms of today, I'm relating it to the Leeds game next week. You've got the starting 11 in front here. You've got the subs that we had. If Everton are, say, 0-0 against Leeds, 65, 70 minutes gone, who are you looking at? If you think that 11 is going to start against Leeds, who are you looking at on the bench to say, come on and change the game?
Well, we don't know with Mikalenko.
Obviously,
Mikalenko's injured. So say for argument's sake, Seamus Coleman starts. Mikalenko obviously injured, but apart from that, I would comfortably see that team turning over Leeds. If it's not,
impact. Who's going to make the impact from a sub point of view? Because that's kind of been that's the biggest thing out of this whole game as well.
This is where we need to beef up the squad, isn't it? This is where arguably you'd want another centre forward in. You'd want another midfield in. Harrison Armstrong was injured today. That's why he wasn't on the start on the substitutes bench. So you'd want another midfielder in. You'd want another striker in. And that's where you're looking to change games. You're looking for Alcaraz all of a sudden goes onto the bench, and all of a sudden you could be saying, if it's not going well against Leeds after 60 minutes, you throw McNeil on and Alcaraz and another centre forward, and you can change the game completely. It didn't work today, obviously, because Roma had a better opposition. But I think there's an option there to make changes. But at the moment, we desperately need to sort that right-hand side out. It's got to be done this week.
I don't know where we go if it's not Diblin, because do we go back for Fofana, who we know doesn't really want to come?
Fofana's not happening.
So, no, exactly. So where do we go? We know Grealish is separate to all of that. We know we could be coming anyway, obviously on a loan deal.
I think it could come to a decision over the next 48 hours where Everton will have to press the button for the right midfielder. Because ideally, and I get what you're saying, Grealish hasn't kicked a ball for 6 months. He will need about 3 or 4 weeks to get going straight away. And before that, you're playing international football. So there's going to be a big gap for him. Everton really, if the Grealish is the man, go and get him. Go and get him this week. And I get what you're saying in terms of that team should be beating Leeds anyway. But the same token, if they do get Grealish in, it's going to take 3 or 4 weeks to get going anyway.
You're just not getting Grealish in anytime soon. You just don't think...
whoever the right midfielder is, they have to go and get one. They have to go and get one soon.
If it's not Diblin...
Because that was glaringly obvious. I think every 52,500 they were sat there today thinking, what's that Everton's right-hand side? It's just non-existent. Because Alcaraz was just going inside. He's not a right-hand side midfielder. And the balance and the shape of the team was just all over the place once Everton made the substitutions. Because they were kind of getting away with it, with the good passages of play from Kieran Jules Biol, Thierry Barry, Illuminati. They were getting on the ball and creating stuff. James Garner was getting about. So they were doing very well. And then once Everton made them substitutions and the likes of Kieran Jules Biol come off and Thierry Barry come off, then Beto come on and Dwight McNeil come on, then Everton just lost the shape completely then. So they were kind of getting away with it in the first half because of the good passages of play Everton were creating with the best players on the pitch.
Let's go to some comments then.
Let's go.
Liam EFC says, well, he says Ian, but we'll say Ian and Tony. Do you think Everton add more to the squad before we play Leeds? He says we have to.
Have to. I think Moyes then...
But you do think that we'll beat Leeds even with that team?
Yeah, we should do. Should do 100%, but it depends on the player, because Moyes then will go, well, hang on, we've got Brighton the week after. Straight away. So Brighton's a much tougher opposition than Leeds, obviously. Brighton will keep hold of the ball. Very good possession-based team. We've seen what they've done to us at home, started last season. So...
You're not going to agree, but I'd be willing to wait until after Leeds if we knew we get the right player in.
It depends who it is. Depends who
of
that
course,
player is, yeah.
It's all hearsay, isn't
Because
it?
if it is Grealish, they need to get him in this week to get him going. But if it's another player, then yeah, I agree with you. They probably get away with it after Leeds.
Liam also says Barry needs time to settle, which I think we can agree with that, but I think he impressed. I think he did well.
I think he the thing about Barry is that he can run in behind, he can hold up the ball, and his combination play with the midfield is very good. So, and he can get, all of a sudden, he can turn defence into attack. He's very good at, like, that flick that I've just described there before. He's on the halfway line, he's going nowhere. All of a sudden, he threw it past the centre half and Everton were in on goal. It's very good forward play. It gets you up the pitch. Defence must be made up with him. The ball's sticking. He can run in behind and he can turn defence into attack straight away. And he's a young lad as well. Very young. He's a young lad. That was his first game in front of a crowd like that.
And I'll admit, I love Beto, but I'll admit from what I've seen of him so far, he looks a lot more technically gifted than Beto as well.
Oh yeah, 100%. You can just see when he's getting when the ball goes to him, he knows what he's doing with it before the ball comes. Whereas in Beto doesn't know what he's doing with it until it comes to him, and that's the difference. You know what I mean?
What I will say is though, about the 70-odd minute, Beto did have a nice bit of hold-up play. I don't know if you remember it. Remember it.
Remember?
You've got to defend them, Tom.
Of course.
It's that
Wouldn't be a
opinion that you've
podcast
got to
without,
defend.
yeah.
Sean Collins believes there's a relegation battle incoming. I don't know, I agree with that.
No. Have a look at the bottom three that come up.
Shirley Buzzer says 0 momentum for the season, 0 goals again, and 0 wingers.
That is, do you know what? If you look at it from a pre-season overall,
It's poor. It's been poor.
it's been, and that's because of the numbers.
Everton don't have good pre-seasons.
I'm not interested in results, and not many Evertonians are, to be honest, and they shouldn't be, because it's all about Leeds on Monday night.
That's when you'll be interested.
Of course, that's when you're interested. But the difference is that we're not scoring goals in pre-season. That's the big difference here, and we haven't played well in pre-season. I think there was short periods of play against Manchester United. There was quite a lot to come from today in terms of them 60 minutes. But apart from that, pre-season overall, Accrington, Blackburn, Bournemouth, West Ham, they were awful. They were awful. Manchester United, we go for about an hour, and today we were probably half decent for about an hour. That's been it. So we played well for basically about an hour today against Roma. Played well for an hour against Manchester United. But apart from that, the rest of the pre-season been really poor. And that is the main factor of that is due to the planning in pre-season to recruit the numbers in. That's it in a nutshell.
Andrew Davis, quite strong. He says disgrace of a performance.
Yeah. No, I've got to disagree.
Maybe, last 20 minutes, last 15 minutes.
Because the team was all over the place. Everton made 6 changes. Once Ruben comes on, Chimity goes on the left-hand side of midfield, and you're taking your best players off then. Once Ndiaye goes off, and obviously just a guy goes off, and Thierry Barry goes off, and Kieran Dewsbury goes off. Basically, Everton's starting lineup against Leeds all effectively came off for the last half an hour. And that's when the team just lost its shape completely.
And Colin counters that. He says, a lot of idiots overreacting again. We all know what we need, so let's hope we sign a right winger this week.
I agree. I totally agree with
conversation is dominated by that following, obviously, the Roma defeat there, and I'm sure it'll continue on throughout the week.
It will, but you know what? I think today has been, on what you'll see today, more than anything, it's all glaringly obvious about the right-hand side of midfield, but the joyous occasion to come from today is seeing a lot of young Everton fans and a lot of Evertonians going to that game for the first time today, going to the stadium for the first time. They're going, wow, this is our home. They love, and I made it when I seen like loads of like families and couples and daughters and sons and with the mums and dads and all taking pictures of themselves at the game. I was made up to see it. I go, oh, that's like you were there. Do you know what I mean? That was a momentous day. That's Everton's highest capacity they've had since 1987. You're like, that is incredible. Do you know what I mean? 50-odd thousand there to watch Everton at home.
And I suppose a quick word on getting to the stadium and the transport and stuff like that as well.
Well, obviously been very, very critical about the local transport services to the stadium. I didn't travel by the train to get to the stadium today, but I actually did. I went to pick my son up and then brought him to the stadium. And I noticed that there was 8 carriages on instead of the 4, and that worked a treat. Yeah. So if Merseyrail can continue with them 8 carriage trains throughout the Ormskirk line, throughout the Southport line, keep on doing that for every home game. I think it should sustain it, and there's no reason why they shouldn't.
Surely they're going to have to though as well, because if you just said it kind of ran smoothly in that respect, then there's evidence to suggest that that's what you need to do.
But the problem's going to be, and sorry to interrupt, the problemm's going to be Monday night against Leeds,
Sunday
service against Brighton, bank holiday weekend. So if you're coming out to that ground, so we play West Ham on a Monday night. That game's going to finish about 10 o'clock. So the time it takes you to walk to Moorfields or walk to Sandhills, that's another half an hour on your clock. So you're going to be getting that train about 10:30. And don't forget, the clocks go, is it forward or back in October? You're getting your dark nights. Yeah. So all of a sudden, it's great today. Sun's out, lovely, not a speck of rain, really nice walk, 20-minute walk to Sandhill or 20-minute walk to Moorfields, wherever it may be. Depending on your age and your mobility, no problem. But it's October, November, December, January, February when you're having to do that walk, and also making sure their main carriages are on. They've got to be consistent with them. So fair play to them, being very critical about them, getting them eight carriages on, big plus, and that's got to be the way going forward, even if it's a Sunday game and even if it's a night game.
I came from the other end, so I was coming from like Old Hall Street, into the stadium, and getting in there. It was busy in terms of travelling in the car, but it wasn't like gridlock. It was moving slowly and safely. Coming back from the ground into Old Hall Street, a lot of people walking on the pavements, and that was fine, but there was a big build up of traffic. But I guess that is expected, from the Strand onto Leeds Street, and then it's obviously going to continue up to, Islington and West Derby Road, I guess. But it's just going to be busy around that side of things.
It's just the way it is. That's just the way the stadium is. And do you know what? It's nice that you're just seeing a lot of Evertonians walking down Regent Road and heading towards Liverpool city centre. Now, how many times as well as I know that when Liverpool are playing at home, Liverpool's just it's a sea of red when Liverpool are playing at home. Now the city centre is going to have a big presence of Evertonians now on match day. And it was great to see just a flood of blue airing towards the city centre. I'm sure town now will be packed full of Evertonians all singing and dancing. So long may that continue right throughout the season.
That was the surreal thing for me, driving in, seeing the hundreds and the thousands of fans with the loads of people in the blue tops and the Everton tops. Obviously, scurrying along to the ground. And I had, because Old Hall Street is closed off, I had to go down Tybarn Street, and the pubs there, the railway, and I think, is it the Lion, is it, or something like that? Loads of fans just outside having a drink and stuff like that. Surreal, like it something that we've never seen before.
That's like the way I've spoken to a lot of Blues today at the match, and they're going like, I can't believe like this is going to be my routine now. Yeah. This is me. It felt
right though.
Yeah, of course it did. And listen, right. it was a chore leaving Goodison. We were all sad on that final day and everything else. And one of the lads said, just imagine seeing Goodison today when that game was going on. Just empty. You just felt, whoa, do you know what I mean? It felt very surreal. But today it was a momentous day. Listen, the results by the by, it was a really good performance up to an hour with a very, very strong 11. We created lots of chances against a very good Roma side. It's glaringly obvious where we need to improve on in the transfer market. We don't need to repeat that all the time. What we need to celebrate today is one of the best stadiums in world football we've got as our home. Yeah. It's very, very impressive. And there'll be 50,000 leaving that stadium today, regardless of results, with smiles on their faces and memories they've made, that they've walked into the Hill Dickinson Stadium for the first time and they can't get enough of it.
That's the only thing I took from it. Forget the results, obviously disappointing, but I just felt right at home. Yeah. The whole time. Getting there, obviously I probably left an hour earlier than what I would normally have done to get to Goodison. Made the right decision in that respect. But the walk up from Old Hall Street, getting into the ground, just being outside, going behind the wall by the turrets and stuff like that, everyone taking pictures, getting in the stadium, I had no problem whatsoever getting in the stadium, and then just coming up into the stands, that south stand, it's such a weird, I don't know how to describe it. You're closer to the pitch than you would be in the lower Gladys, but you're higher up and you're just right on top of the pitch. And I'm telling you now, when there's a last minute winner in that stadium, it's going to go off.
Do you know what, right, today, the atmosphere was incredible today, and that was a pre-season friendly.
Exactly.
A pre-season friendly, nothing riding on it. So you can only imagine a night game, a Merseyside derby night game down there. It's going to be absolutely incredible.
They won't let us play one.
It is.
All the games are going to be half 12
exactly.
kickoff from Future.
Honest, it's going to be absolutely incredible. The wall of noise, the PA system, the sound from the South Stand was incredible. It was a joyous occasion today, and it's great to see lots of Evertonians, like routines changing. There's a lot of pubs now and bars along Regent Road, and they'll all be going to different cafes and different pubs and different bars and restaurants now, and they'll be filtering their own little routine. It's great to see. We've adapted to change now really well.
Yeah.
And this is the way. This is the way now going forward.
I think this game will be the first where people obviously a little bit reluctant. People don't like change, but the majority of Everton fans who go regularly have gone to that game there today, and they probably thought, actually, it's not as bad as what we thought it was going to be. It's actually better.
Yeah.
Everything about the stadium's better than what we've had previously. You might just need to leave a little bit extra earlier, but previously to what you did when you went to Goodison and stuff.
The amount of messages I got during the game was like, from mates who were going to the first town, he said, like, feels like an away game this. I can get used to it, but not for now. And loads of me mates have messaged me going, my seat's brilliant in there, and I'm amazed. And that just sums up how good this stadium is. The fact that there's so many people saying their seat's the best.
My seat's the best.
There's so many people going, and there's not a bad seat in the place.
No.
There's not a bad seat in the place. It is an incredible stadium, and we're very lucky to have it. Very, very lucky that we've got that on the banks of the Mersey today. And it was great to see all four sides of the stadium getting used. The team bus pulling up outside on the banks of the Royal Blue Mersey as well. It was great to see. And it just whets the appetite so much for night games and big games down there in the Premier League. It's going to be absolutely immense.
Just to finish off, so I don't think I mentioned this before we went on. Feature of the post-match podcast: a Royal Blue NordVPN man of the match.
Ooh.
And we've both got to agree. We tend to disagree on a lot of things. However, we've both got to put our case forwards for the players that we want, and then we've got to kind of come to people in the comments as well. Let us know who
definitely.
your Royal Blue NordVPN man of the match was.
I think it's got to be Everton's number 22, Kieran Dewsbury-Hall. Without question. Quality footballer, creative, up and down the pitch, gets his foot in, thinking ahead, link-up play on the left-hand side, links-up play on the right-hand side, when there was a player actually there. Brought Barry into play really well, gets in a ball. He fits in. He's a proper Everton player. He is a really, really good footballer. And it's very difficult to play in that position when you haven't got the physique to play in there. You look at a lot of players that play in that position up and down the Premier League. They're normally mountains, the big specimens, the big physical athletes that play in that role. He hasn't got them attributes, but he's a very good footballer.
Got a low centre of gravity as well.
Yeah, but he's a very, very good footballer. He can pass, do you know what I mean? Very creative. And he stands out for me today. Standout player. I think he's going to be a big force in the Premier League for Everton this season. Yeah, I've got to say him. Everton's number 22.
Yeah, I mean, I described him when he signed in the week that he could potentially be Everton's most influential signing, and he's made a good start. I'm going to agree with you. What I would say, just to put forth a case for someone else, if we'd have kept a clean sheet, I would have gone with Jared Brandtwaite, just purely for the fact that we kept a clean sheet and Jared Brandtwaite was the
linchpin of it. Yeah,
he was back in that team. Obviously, we conceded. Brandtwaite ended up going off anyway, which I'm sure he was happy to get the minutes in. I'm more than happy to go with Kieran Dewsbury-Hall. Yeah. He was absolutely the standout. So Kieran Dewsbury-Hall, the Royal Blue NordVPN man of the match.
Without question.
Just a reminder, just to get the best discounts of your NordVPN plan, go to the podcast episode description box and nordvpn.com/EFC. Final thoughts then, Toe, before we go and have a berry?
Yeah, a deserved one as well. It's been a long weekend, hasn't it? Really has. No, today was a proud day to be an Evertonian. It really was. 52,500 in our brand new home at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. It's been a long time coming. We've suffered big time over the past 8 or 9 years to get where we are. How many trials and tribulations and coach welcomings and points deductions and takeovers and the list is endless in terms of they've left mental scars with Evertonians, and we never thought we'd see the day that Everton would be going to play at the Hill Dickinson Stadium in front of a 50,000 capacity as a Premier League club. We never thought we'd see it. We thought we'd have the best stadium in the Championship. That's all we were getting thrown down our necks. For the last 8 years, no one's ever thought that was getting built. And now today, we finally, I think a lot of Evertonians have realised the dreams and think, wow, this is our home. This is incredible. This is a stadium and a force to be reckoned with. All we need now is players to perform in it. And we've got one or two. We just need one or two more. And I fancy us to have a good season.
Okay, well, we will leave it there. Please remember to give us a like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Drop us some 5-star reviews on Apple and Spotify. Most importantly, enjoy the rest of your day, enjoy the rest of your night, enjoy the rest of your week. This has been the Royal Blue Podcast post-match show. I've been Ian Croll with Tony Scott, and we'll see you on Monday.